Hello, Facebook fans of DX Engineering. It's Tuesday afternoon here in the Eastern Time Zone in the USA. It's time for Tuesdays with Tim and Jeff. I'm Tim, K3LR, and Jeff is, I think he's on a date with his wife, lunch date over there. And today we have a very special guest. It's Michael Kalter, W8CI from Hamvention. Hello, Michael.
Hey, Tim. Glad to be here again, and hello to everyone out there who might be tuning in.
And of course, this is Hamvention Week. And Michael, I know this is heavy hearts on all the volunteers and all the attendees. Tell us what's going on down in the Dayton, Xenia area right now, and what might transpire here as you go through the week.
Well, we've only got a few things planned. Of course, we want to support what you're doing with Contest University on Thursday, and we think that's just a grand thing that you're doing, and Hamvention has supported that over the years. And I do want to say that the great thing about that Contest University, first off, is that you don't have to be a contester to get a lot out of it. If you're an amateur radio operator and you want to know more about the fine points of having a good signal, listening to people, and just the fine points of amateur radio, I would highly suggest it. And it's free. And I think Tim I'll let him give us the latest numbers, but a lot of people signing up. He's put a lot of time in this program. And I think that's one of the exciting things. Okay, on Friday and Sunday, and not interfering at all with our Hamvention QSO party on Saturday, we're going to have a special events station, as we always do, and it won't be quite as extensive as the QSO party, but we still want to do it and send out the really nice cards and everything. But the big news this weekend is going to be the QSO party, the Hamvention QSO party, which I'll let Tim talk a little bit about it, and I'll add a few things.
So yeah, Hamvention QSO party will be on Saturday morning, starting at 8 o'clock in the morning, and it's going to be a great time on the HF bands. And heck, you can also make QSOs on 2 meters and 6 meters if you like, and feel free to make QSOs on FT8 if you like as well. It's a friendly event. The idea is to honor the memory of Ron, W8ILC, a longtime Dayton Amateur Radio Association member, and Ron had attended every Hamvention since the beginning, and he died just a few days after the cancellation was announced. There are three different power levels, QRP, low power and high power. You can use the DX cluster and the reverse beacon network, but you may not self-spot. And then at the end, you just enter your score on 3830scores.com. And when you go to that website, you will see Hamvention QSO party, and you can enter your score there. And there is logging software support for the Hamvention QSO party. I want to thank the team at N1MM. Within 24 hours of Michael and I announcing this contest, N1MM had an overlay for it. So it was really good. Also, the EI5DI Super Duper and N3FJP and Wind Test, you can just use the RAC contest overlays. So that's going to be just a great event. And the idea is to thank W8BI. When you work W8BI or another member of the DARA club, thank them for all they do. There's a special bonus. Every time you work W8BI, you get an extra 10 points. And so you theoretically could work them, several times, 10 times, 12 times. So we encourage you to get on, have fun. It doesn't have to be a rapid fire contest like. You can just get on and enjoy the day, the afternoon, which would have been Hamvention Saturday. And Michael, I know you're going to be on the whole time. I'm going to be on as much as possible. And talk to people all over the world that are very excited about this event, Michael.
Yeah, actually, I have too. And it is, the times are Eastern Standard Time at 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. And the thing of it is, in our club, we had 750 plus volunteers. And I'm simply a representative, as I've mentioned before, of all those volunteers. And those 750 volunteers do an awful lot of work for Hamvention. Lots of preparation. They put their hearts into it. And we come up to, 2 months out, and we had to make a decision. And when we made that decision, it's like everybody been kicked in the gut. It's like, oh my gosh, no Hamvention. And that has been pretty hard for many of our volunteers. But we're keeping the momentum alive, thanks to Tim and a lot of people. And I've heard from a lot of people around the world. And as we are working in the refund process, refund for tickets, for inside exhibits and flea market, which is a pretty big undertaking. People think just push the button. We still have a ways to go yet, and because a lot of things have to be verified, and we have a small group that knows how to do it. So, but we've had a great response of people that just said, well, wait till next year. Use my tickets for next year, or use my money as a donation. And that has been absolutely wonderful. And to the amateur radio community, on behalf of myself and all of our volunteers, we certainly thank you for that. And while I'm talking about it, we do plan to be back next year, greater than ever. We decided not to do a delay, or a delayed event in the fall or in the winter. We just figured that we'll wait till this thing kind of shapes through, and we'll have a great event next year, Tim.
I'm sure it will be a great event, and you'll be back stronger than ever. I want to give some shout outs here. Here we have Michael from Washington, KI7CMR, and our good friend Scotty Meyer, KG9Z, and Willie and Charles, Kilo Bravo 8 Delta Echo X-Ray. And from the Finger Lakes, here's Doug, Whiskey 2 Golf Tango. And our guest from last week is on with us, John, the tall guy, K3STL. He's 6'4", he said. And he's going to be shopping at DX Engineering, looking forward to Contest U, and only 374 days until Hamvention. That's right. We're counting them down. And there's Billy, W8CI, and from Bavaria, there's Charlie, Delta Lima 6 Radio Delta Echo. And from Maine, there's Todd, Kilo Charlie 1 Sierra Quebec. So a good group on here this afternoon. And thanks very much for tuning in and listening to us. And Michael, you will be doing the opening of Contest University, as you always do. And when we do it on Zoom this Thursday morning. And it's 2,300 plus right now, so it's going to be a big Zoom room.
That's just fabulous. I was going to say, I knew it was around 2,000, and it had been a couple of days since you and I have talked, so hard telling where that number went to. And this may be a big week and a big push on getting a lot of people on there. And I want to say hello to everybody that just checked in on Facebook, and appreciate all your support. The activity at Contest University is just, like I say, that's a fabulous learning experience. And to put it together free, as to me, that's pretty amazing, because I know that you could capitalize on that one way or the other, but you haven't, you don't want to. And I know from some of the previous meetings that we've had all together, as I got invited to the presenters group, and these people are working so hard on making this happen. They have their presentations ready, stacked. They're trying to minimize any kind of technical glitches, which could happen. I mean, we're all in this new world together, but Tim, for you to get this pulled off, man, and your team is working on that too. It's just fabulous.
it Teams is working like crazy. In fact, Terry is still working on the website. She's uploading the bios as we speak, and she got all of the presentations up there already. In case you have slow internet, you can go download the presentations ahead of time. I want to give a shout out to Golf Uniform 4 Echo Oscar Norway from Guernsey. And there's Carl, K3LR, and Bob, KT8DX. And from Montrose, PA, lots to look forward to this week despite no Hamvention. New radio, Contest University, the QSO party. Actually, DX Engineering is going to have a Facebook Live celebration on Friday morning, the DX Engineering New Product Showcase. And our good friend Charlie, November Fox 4 Alpha, and all the way from Bangkok, here's Echo 21, Echo India Charlie Champ, just checked in. He's staying up late. And from Argentina, Lima Whiskey 5 Hotel Radio, and Tim, W3MLJ. I'm sorry, that's Michael, W3MLJ, young fellow that is operated here. And Dave Heil, Kate Mother Nature. And, we just got an update, Michael. Corey, who is one of the session chairs, 2,588 signed up.
That's great. I'm going to make sure my friends in other parts of the world are really clear on it, and that it's going to happen, and they should sign up, because I think you could get 5,000 easily. But it's still, I don't know how many you can manage, but that's a wonderful number, and just a wonderful thing that you are doing for amateur radio, Tim, you and your team.
Well, we have some great volunteers that are putting together the slide decks, and then the moderators, and I can't thank Corey enough for all the hard work that he's doing, and Nathaniel, who was Hamvention Ham of the Year last year, and Nathaniel has been a great help to us. And Dawn, I see you in there, K4ILG, and Jason, KC9 November Bravo Whiskey, and our friend Craig Clark, K1QX. You remember when Craig used to come with all the books there on the main floor, Michael?
Oh yeah,
Ham Radio Bookstore. And I used to enjoy just going through and loading up on books. And there's Craig, K1QX on this afternoon, and Edgar, K9JEM. So everybody's going to be thinking about all the Hamvention volunteers this weekend, and can't wait to come back next year. Michael, tell us a little bit about when the preparations will start for Hamvention next year.
They've already started, and we don't mess around with that kind of a thing. We're looking at what went right, in our planning process, what went wrong. We have Hamvention meetings. We have another one coming up very shortly. We meet with the chairs, and we'll also be Jack will be, this is his last Hamvention, unfortunately, W8CI, and we will shortly be announcing the chairman for next year. And so we are really working very hard on that as an event like that. And, we're volunteers. There's no professional people in terms of people that, are getting paid to do this. There's a lot of people with a lot of expertise in the group. And then we use a lot of outside help too, in terms of, getting the right insurance coverage, getting, all the right things that we need to make this happen. So yeah, Tim, we are well into preparation, and but this is going to be it's going to be a be sad weekend a little bit, but it's going to be just a feel good weekend where we'll get people coming on, and I think it's basically, as you said, CQ Hamvention.
There you go. Well, we have some friends on with us too. We have Dick, Whiskey Victor 1 Mike, and from Puerto Rico, KP4 Radio Yankee, and from Latvia, Kaspars, Yankee Lima 1 Zulu Fox, And from Greenville, Pennsylvania, here's our friend KE3 Juliet Papa, Mike Mowry, and Brian, KM4SJS from New Jersey, and getting excited for CTU 2020. Jeff, KC0 Mike Kilo Sierra. So it's going to be a very fun event. I'm sure of that. And speaking of fun, Michael, we were talking about the DX Engineering Showcase on Facebook Live. It'll be on this channel Friday morning at 9 o'clock. Look what I got in the mail. This is the new DX Engineering catalog.
I got my mail today on the way over here, but it wasn't in there. But
Well, you'll be getting it soon. And what a great book this is. Everybody at DX Engineering that contributed to this book, it's great. And talking about the new IC 705 in there too, it's chock full of new stuff. And so that'll give everybody something to do. Normally, we bring thousands of those catalogs to Hamvention, and but if you've done business with us in the past several years, you're going to get one automatically. And if you don't get one here in the next 2 or 3 weeks, make sure you request a catalog online, and we will send you one. So, Michael, any parting comments here before we turn everybody back to the radios?
Well, I once again, I can't tell you how much I appreciate all our volunteers for Hamvention. And, our clubhouse is sort of, we're not allowed to have big meetings here anymore. And our club can't have meetings, much like the rest of Ohio. And we're looking forward to a safe reopening. But more importantly, too, is thank you, and thank the amateur radio community for your unbelievably great support of what we're trying to do, what Hamvention tries to do. And it's easy to, knock an event or say, well, that wasn't good and that wasn't good. But the thing of it is, there's always a great or an interesting story with Hamvention. And if you didn't have a good story to come home with from Hamvention, maybe you weren't awake, or maybe you didn't go. I mean, I have so many great stories that of all the times that I have been there. And so think about that and share that on the radio. I think that is just fabulous. And there were, like I mentioned, there were other groups that were going to have use that time slot maybe for their other amateur radio events, and they pulled away from it in honor of Hamvention and our volunteers. So I want to thank all of the groups that did that. And then finally, I want to say on your DX engineering catalog, and I'm just saying this because, I love a good catalog. And when I was a kid, I used to pick up the Allied catalog, the Lafayette catalog, and I forget what Radio Shack was called before that, but even the Radio Shack catalogs. And I'd learned so much. And, you'd keep them and you'd look at all that stuff, but look at how spectacular the DX engineering catalog and all the catalogs that are out there now. But I particularly enjoy the DX catalog. It has lots of good information. And then if I want more in-depth information, and, I'm kind of a slow learner. I just am a poor ham living in flyover country, and I'm not so quick on the uptake sometimes, but at any rate, I can learn an awful lot in a short period of time on looking at the videos that DX Engineering has out. But I got to be careful plugging them too much because we have a lot of support. But they are excellent at supporting you as an amateur radio operator. I know if I called them and said, look, I have brand X and you don't sell it, but maybe you got some ideas for me. And they don't care. They do that. They love amateur radio. And I know they're one of our 2 Ohio three big Ohio dealers. And we try to support all of them and do that fairly. But like I said, it's easy to throw stones. It's easy to knock people, but unless you've really gotten in there, unless you've really done something for amateur radio, then be careful doing that, because we're all volunteers, and it is such a wonderful effort, at least from our organization and from your organization too, Tim, and all of you listening out there. So CQ, Hamvention, I'll listen for you. I'll talk a little bit Thursday morning, and I'll hear people there on Saturday morning. So Very 73 from Dayton Hamvention and all our volunteers. This is Whiskey 8 Charlie India, over.
Okay, Michael, thanks very much for everything you do. And we'll look forward to the events unfolding this week. And 73 from DX Engineering. See you next Tuesday.